service. Remember that TAPI service run under system account Windows 2003, so it's very easy to exploit this issue. And then this previous finding helped me to find how to bypass the fix that Microsoft introduced on Windows 2003 to prevent exploitation of Windows management instrumentation processes. So finally, I could find many ways to elevate always from network service and local service account to system on all Windows versions, bypassing all protections. And on Windows Vista 2008 and Windows 7, also from any user with impersonation rights, also you can elevate always to system. So these are the two exploits we already saw. So these are some threat scenarios where these vulnerabilities can be exploited. For instance, on web hostings that provide IIS. I mean, for $5, you can rent a web hosting. $4.99. You can get a hosting provider. You can upload your web page there and get your own server. It's very cheap. And then you can launch your favorite spam campaign and do whatever you want. Maybe compromise all the farm, etc. Then another third scenario is in company developers, because they can upload web pages to development servers, maybe to production servers too. So if they can do that, and IIS is in the default configuration, then they can own the server, and from there the network, etc. Another third scenario is on SQL Server, because SQL Server administrators most of the time are not Windows administrators, so they don't have control over the system. They have only control over SQL Server. But exploiting this issue, a SQL Server administrator can become a Windows administrator and own the server. And finally, another threat scenario is in-post exploitation, like we already saw. An attacker is exploiting a vulnerability in some service, but he's restricted because he only can run code on the network service account, local service account with our low privileged account. But exploiting this issue, he can become a system in a second stage. So this really helps in post-exploitation scenario to bypass the protections. Some recommendations, of course, this had been applied with doing tests before because you can break things. But a good recommendation is not run ASP.NET on full trust, which is the default configuration. It's preferable to run it on any other account that is not the network service or local service account. You should avoid running services under the network service or local service account too. It's preferable to create a special account to run services you have to install in your systems. Another recommendation is to remove permission from user group to the tracing subkey. Finally, you can disable telephony service if you are not using it. You can disable it to avoid exploitation. So about the fixes, Microsoft is aware of these issues. Next patch test, they are going to release a fix for the tracing registry issue. And there is another elevation of privileges issue that I found that I not showed it here because it can be exploited by any user. So they will be fixing that issue too. And Microsoft is also releasing an advisory or a couple of advisory stating the issues about elevation from network service and local service account. So the conclusion are like, for me, the Windows security model still has vulnerability issue flaw, as you want to name it. And because of these flaws, the new protection can be easily bypassed. So they are improving a lot, but it's still room for more improvement. Because it's like it is right now, the security model allows like I said, bypassing all the protection. So it doesn't make sense to have all these protections if this protection can be easily bypassed. Well, like you said, finding vulnerability is not difficult if you know what tool to use, where to look for. with this tool, it was just a matter of doing click around and checking registry, looking on internet. It's not difficult. I mean, anyone can do it. And finally, like I said, on Windows XP and Windows 2003, if you can run code under network service or local service account, then you can compromise the server. And then on Windows Vista, Windows 7 and 2008, if you can run code under any user that can impersonate, then you can own the server too. Some reference, and that's it. I don't know if there are any questions. Thank you.